Uber driver's chilling suicide note revealed after attacking cops with samurai sword outside Buckingham Palace. An Uber driver who attacked police officers with a samurai sword outside Buckingham Palace left a suicide note which said, "The Queen and her soldiers will all be in hellfire." Mohiussunnath Chowdhury drove his blue Toyota Prius at a police van and reached for the blade on August 25 last year, the Old Bailey heard. The 27-year-old was sprayed with CS gas and arrested after repeatedly shouting Allahu Akbar during a scuffle with two officers outside the royal residence at Constitution Hill, jurors were told. Chowdhury drove from his home in Kirkwood Road, Luton, to the road opposite Buckingham Palace. He then swerved in front of a police van and the two officers inside had to be taken to hospital after the struggle at 8:30 p.m., the Old Bailey heard. The Islamic State supporter does not dispute that he was at the scene with the samurai sword, but claims he was trying to get himself killed. Chowdhury was born in London in May 1991 and later moved to Luton, working as a self-employed Uber driver. Prosecutor Timothy Cray told the jury Chowdhury was a supporter of Islamic State. In his suicide note which he left on his sister and #X27's laptop on the night, Chowdhury wrote, "Tell everyone I love them and that they should struggle against the enemies of Allah with their lives and their property. The Queen and her soldiers will all be in hellfire. They go to war with Muslims around the world and kill them without any mercy. They are the enemies Allah tells us to fight." He denies engaging in conduct and preparation of terrorist acts. Chowdhury had been driving along the southeast side of the road nearest the palace when he saw the marked police van coming the other way from St. James and #X27, Parkway. As the defendant got up to where the police van was coming towards him he swerved his car through the traffic cones, said Mr. Gray. As Chowdhury swerved across the road in front of the police van the officers inside thought the driver might be drunk or on drugs, the court heard. This defendant had something far more serious in his mind, said Mr. Gray. At 5:15 p.m. this defendant had sent a note to his sister and more accurately he left a note on her laptop. She was at work. He was saying to her and #X27 by the time you read this note I will be in paradise with Allah and #X27, and he was saying to his sister in clear terms that he intended to get to paradise by becoming a martyr, fighting, in his words, and #X27 enemies of Allah and #X27. Chowdhury had bought a sharpener from Sainsbury and #X27 and taken it to the scene with him. The coal-black samurai sword was shown to the jury by Mr. Gray, who said, "There is the clearest possible evidence that he did bring terror to the streets of London, trying to attack police officers right outside Buckingham Palace." The judge, Mrs. Justice Chima Grubb, told jurors that the case may engage their emotions but a reasoned and calm mindset was needed to try Chowdhury. Chowdhury, of Kirkwood Road, Luton, denies one count of preparing to commit an act of terrorism. The trial continues.